Hey, hey, what is going on? This is Ricardo with the Code 7 Podcast Network, and we are about to get started with Open Mic Live. Usually I do this on Sundays, but going live today because it is August 24th, 2024, and that means National I Am 911 Day. But first, a quick countdown before we jump right in. All right, we are back. Oof, man, a lot of stuff going on. And as I said, today is August 24th, 2024. And I'm doing this on Saturday because it's National I Am 911 Day. Usually I do this on Sundays, but it wouldn't make sense to go live tomorrow and then say, well, yesterday was a great I Am 911 Day, blah, blah, blah. No, I wanted to do it today because we're all together. We're here. And it's the 24th, man. Might as well do it. How's everyone doing? I am, as you can see, I'm just like, just got the beard going, man. I got the beard going, and I'm going to be shaving pretty soon. But this past week, I was on vacation. I didn't put anything out there. I didn't say shit. I just, I went on vacation, and I unplugged. It was nice to unplug. I mean, yeah, there were a couple emails here and there that I absolutely had to respond to, but otherwise, there was really nothing else going on. Plus, I was out in Hocking Hills, um, in Ohio, and there wasn't signal out there anyway, really. So, um, it was the first time in years, literally years, that I've had the chance to actually take a vacation. Because if you know me, I'm constantly working. I'm constantly doing things, whether it's teaching, training, speaking, the podcast, sharing stories, things that I've been doing for over 10 years now. And I don't usually take a break at all. So it was a nice change. It was nice to just go out and hang out and basically live a little. It was nice. As always, this live broadcast is sponsored by InDigital, Leader Next Gen Core Services, and a shout out to all of you who are subscribers of the podcast. Thank you for everything. I wouldn't be able to do what I do if it wasn't for all of you, but especially all of you who are here watching, listening, supporting, and sharing. Thank you all so very much. And I'm sorry. I'm just trying to I'm just trying to take it all in. I've been kind of in scramble mode today because, I basically took the week off leading up into this, and now I'm catching up with a bunch of different things. So, I'm glad to be here with all of you as always, and I definitely have some stuff that, a lot of things that we need to go over. And so episode 561 went out, and that was with Elizabeth. Such a great episode. If you have not had a chance to check it out, please make sure to do so. She's got an incredible story, and I've got a shit ton of episodes coming up, including tons of Imagine listening sessions and open mic sessions from different training places. and conferences that I was at where I was recording. So be on the lookout for those. That is going to be coming up. 562 will be coming up for patrons first. Probably in the next day or so because I have to record a bunch of different things. And also, as we always do with open mic, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Again, it is Saturday. And on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being shitty, 10 being awesome, how are you feeling? How are you doing? I'm already at an 8.5, 9, even though I was hiking like crazy and my body hurts, but it's a good hurt. It's a good hurt. It's like when when you go and you work out and everything and you have that feeling, you're like, I hurt, but I feel good. I feel good. It's that good hurt. If that makes sense. But so yeah, like my legs are like destroyed, man. But I am digging it also for I am now in 1 day. And I saw tons of you posting so many different things on social media on almost every platform. So, thank you for um observing National I Am 911 Day. We're going to get to the story and a few other things here momentarily. And I started out in Florida. So I've got my Florida Thin Gold Line Edition I Am 911 shirt going. I had some people commenting saying that certain states need that version as well. So Georgia, Indiana, Michigan. Those are the states that people have mentioned that they want it for. So I'm going to put those together. Amy, jumping in here. Hello. How are you doing? I appreciate all that you are doing. Glad to hear you are able to disconnect and relax. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. And my good friend Keely, what's going on, yo? Hello, hello. And we've got other folks that are jumping in over here on Instagram. So how are you? How are you? How are you doing? Oh, Lavelle says Texas got mine. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right. So how are you doing? Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being shitty, 10 being awesome. Throw that in the comments, please. And please throw in some reactions, share this so that others can see it as well. And we're gonna jump in here. Um so as I've mentioned before, and we're coming up, we just have about I think like a week and a half, maybe something like that left here. So I want to put this up on the screen. And let's see, Amy, I'm a solid 7. New job keeping me busy. Yeah, good, awesome, very nice. Lavelle 8 just got on the mic at work. Awesome, awesome, excellent. Keely, I just got back from vacation, so trying to get over that tomorrow is the day before going back to work. Oh man, I know, right? Yeah, exactly. I'm glad though that everyone's got some pretty good numbers coming in here. That's excellent. So let me put this on the screen here. As I've said, we have got the final, that's right, the final Dare to Be Great virtual event coming up. Now, that's not to say that I won't do it again, but I think I'm going to pull back on it for a while. And maybe do more so of the public safety showcase that I did, where it was kind of like a quarterly thing, and I had speakers come on, different info, and or more so a different way to do what this was, because this is once a year. This could be more of a quarterly thing, and at a way smaller scale, just a 1 day thing there. So looking at doing that as well. But for Dare to Be Great, this will be the final one. And what I want to add into the comments over here for LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and X, and then I'll put it over here for Instagram. Those that are over here watching live on Instagram, this is the Survey Monkey survey for you to put in your information if you've got a powerful session, something that you want to put out there, because this virtual event is for dispatch by dispatch. It's free, and it is also, if you can't attend live, you can always go back on demand to watch it as many times as you want. And already have, and I can go ahead and say this now, I already have the three keynotes, and I'll be posting about that soon. And I'm very excited for who they are and what they are going to bring to the landscape of Dare to Be Great. And what they will be talking about will leave you daring to be great. So I'm excited for you to see all of that, who they are, and it is just going to be an excellent time. But also, again, if you have a session that you want to put out there, please submit it. The deadline for Call for Papers is September 1st. That's right, September 1st. That's why I said it's like a week and a half away, and then it'll be closed up. We've got Diamond sponsor in digital. We also have sponsors in the IAD and Nina, as well as Prepared and several others. So there's a lot of great information that's going to be available for all of you out there to check out. So I just wanted to throw that up there, and I'm going to be posting more of this as we're getting close, maybe every couple days um, until the deadline comes up. Keely says, "What the hell? When did it get to September?" I know, right? Yeah, it's not that much left. And then it's September. Yeah, it has gone by super fast. But I am excited again to have all of you join us for Dare to Be Great 6, and for those who are putting in for the Call for Papers, and especially to the sponsors. Thank you very, very much. I wouldn't be able to do it without all of you and all of your support. um Amy says, right, I think time skipped. I know. Yeah, so many different things going on. And hey, my homie Karen commenting over here from LinkedIn. Congrats on this great day, dude. Thanks for having a platform for people to share their stories. It has helped a lot of people. Thank you for the kudos. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you very, very much. And especially to Rapid SOS as well. You guys and I have been doing things together since I went towards the private side, and it was working as an industry partner. And there was a lot of things that we've done together, and I look forward to doing more. So thank you for the support, all of you, just for everything, and especially those sharing stories and who continue to share their stories and who will in the future. As I always say, when you're ready. Thank you all for everything that you do. Again, Dare to Be Great 6 is going to be December 9th through the 12th, 2024. And the link is out there for the Call for Papers. Please submit those, get those in, and get ready, because we are going to go out with a bang. It is going to be excellent. All right. Let me drop this off the screen here. And let's see. Let me go back over here to my notes really quick. So, book two is I'll just say this right now. Book 2 is doing very well in the pre-order stage. So thank you all very much for the support. And here it is right here. Here's the hardcover of Imagine Listening Volume 2, and the back cover right there. And bam, right there. Within the Trenches Media, website and all. And intro page, Volume 2. Man, does that look sexy right under there with the Within the Trenches Media and the Code 7 Traffic LLC. Just all of it. I can't say enough how happy I am with how the redesign and everything came out. And it's just, it looks really good. And I'm excited for all of you to see it. So if you've pre-ordered a book, um, please, for one, thank you, and please share it. Let people know that it is out there as well. And I'm gonna pull this up really quick. So if you If you have not seen the link yet, I'm just going to go ahead and post it up here. And this too, in just a week and a half, will launch September 5th, 2024. Imagine Listening Volume 2 will launch. Publisher is Code 7 Traffic LLC. That's my LLC. That's my company. And I'm just, again, excited for all of you to see it. As you know, earlier this week, I posted a little more information, and actually, I'll get to that at the end. I'll talk more about that at the end. But if you're looking to pick up a hardcover or paperback, here is the link to Amazon. You can also find it on Barnes and Noble, Books a Million, just anything, any other bookstore retailer that's out there, as well as Target, Walmart, all of those. Those are all there. So, make sure to check those out. And see, Lavelle says, "Oh, I've been MIA for a bit. I didn't know Volume 2 was coming out. Let me get my pre-order in." Yay! Thank you. Yes, yes. So here's the thing with Book 2. It was supposed to come out earlier this month. It was supposed to come out the first week of August, which would have been um, at the National APCO conference, because it was going to be special, man. It was going to be super special because in 2016, when the movement launched, it was in Orlando. But Keely, what has happened was, yeah, no one was more surprised than I when I found out that there was going to be some issues with Book 2. And let's just say I wasn't going to let that bullshit happen the same way it did with Book 1, where there were going to be books available at the conference and not for the people who had pre-ordered. I was not going to let that happen again. A lot of people were upset, and for good reason. And I was upset as well when it happened with Book 1. Again, was not going to let that bullshit happen again. So I ended up terminating the contract and scrambled for the last 2.5, 3 weeks before the original launch date, which was going to be August 5th. It was August 4th, and it switched to August 5th. And I I ended up redesigning and redoing the entire book and the images and so many things that went into it. Luckily, I'm a graphic designer, so I did all of this. I was able to do it, but there were a lot of different revisions. There were a lot of different things that I needed to do as a self-publisher, and it was all worth it because this is the final version, and damn, does it look sexy. Oh my lord, it looks excellent and way better version than what would have come out had I stayed where I was at. So there was a lot that happened. And what sucks though is that because of all of that, and I couldn't make that date, I had some test books with me at the conference instead of doing a book signing there. That's what was going to be awesome, was because the movement was launched in Orlando just after the National APCO conference, and it was going to be really cool to be able to do it there. However, despite that bullshit that I was going through there and a couple others, like the Elton John song, "I'm Still Standing," kicked ass, busted ass, really, to get it all done, and it is done now. What made everything super special, though, either way, while being there, despite all the bullshit and still standing, going through, seeing all of you there who were there, but not just at the conference in general, but at the Imagine listening sessions. Both sessions packed, so many stories shared, and that made it that much more special because Imagine listening was being done at the conference where everything started. It was awesome. It was really good. Um, I can't even put into words how good it was and what it felt like to be in there with all of you. Um, I had one of my really good friends out of dispatch out of Michigan. Erica was out there, and her and one of her coworkers were in my sessions, and her coworker was at both sessions and just loved every minute of the session. A lot of people who were there and had gone through it for the first time saying the same things that they could have sat there and listened to people tell stories all day because everyone felt like they were together. Keely says, "We just trust the process. Look at what you had accomplished." Thank you. Lavelle says, "Better than you were ever or ever were." Yes. Yep. I'm still standing. Gotta love that song, man. I love that song. So, again, a lot of different things that had happened there, but I'm glad that everything happened the way it did because there was enough time to do the revisions and to get it to where it needed to be and for it to come out the way it is now. And damn, again, I'm super super excited for you to see it and for those who saw it at the conference. Again, when I had the test book, you know exactly what people are going to get a chance to check out. Now, as I mentioned, I got back from vacation. Again, Hocking Hills was where I was at out of Ohio. And I just wanted to say really quick that if if you don't or haven't in a while taken a moment to and I know it's easy to say this, easier said than done. And don't get me wrong, like I'm guilty of it as well, where I don't listen to my body at times, or I don't take a break. Do your best to take a break, man, and to listen to your body because you'll thank yourself for it later. For real. Especially when you feel like you're breaking down, man. You just need to take a step back. I don't know if anybody drinks sparkling water, but this Waterloo is pretty good. And no, they're not paying me to say that. They just have some good flavors. I'm usually drinking like a LaCroix or something, but this Waterloo one is actually pretty awesome. So I want to go through some history. I want to go through some history here and share some info. And this will definitely take us into the wrap up of this open mic. So August 24th, 2016, I was I was actually I was in Florida. 1 week of it was going to be vacation. The next week was or the week before rather was all conference. It was all work because I was working for InDigital at the time. And the week after was going to be vacation and then, coming back home. Now during this time, both APCO, really APCO who started it back in 2016 that was really pushing, and then Nina also jumped in as well, and both of them um doing the same things were fighting for your reclassification. Because for those who are watching and listening, if you're in the general public and don't know, 911 dispatchers, 911 professionals, at least according to the Office of Management and Budget, and their classes for different jobs, for different employment occupations, rather, there are different classes, and dispatch is in the clerical class, along with clerical staff, admin staff, commercial dispatchers, and for whatever reason, 911 is in there. The profession has evolved from the beginning, so I can see like kind of where their thought was way in the beginning, when it very first started out, but it quickly turned. um, and the rifle play should be in the protective class, along with the rest of the disciplines of public safety, and I think lifeguards and waste management and a few others. So they were fighting for reclassification. They had open comments from the public, all different kinds of things. One of the things that both organizations were looking for were stories. And they didn't specify what type of stories. And I thought, I've been telling stories. I've been sharing powerful 911 dispatch stories for years now. I want to try to help out. And I sent an email to both organizations saying, this is what I'm getting ready to do. I'm hoping that it'll help raise awareness for what you guys are trying to do. Now, in the beginning, I didn't get a word back from either one, but they're all really busy. So I wasn't expecting anything back. I was just letting them know. And I went through that week there at the conference at APCO there in Orlando. And it was a great conference, did our thing there. We rocked it. And then going into that following week, I'm still watching both organizations doing what they're doing. And over here on Instagram, Open Your Ears podcast says happy anniversary. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. Um, I see that they're still looking for stories, but they're not. It doesn't look like either organization is really getting um, a lot of traction in their social media. So I created a meme, and that meme it was a full moon, and it just said on there, it was just a glimpse into one of my calls, one of my stories. And it said, I heard your last breath the night you flipped your four-wheeler. Hashtag I am 911. Sabrina, how's it going? Sabrina says, evening all, just got home from work. I'm glad that you made it home safely. I hope work went well. Thank you for joining us. And I put it out there. I put it out there on the podcast page on Facebook. And I asked other people to do the same thing. Because what I wanted to do was to give the readers a true, raw look into what it is like for us when we're taking those calls. Also, those one or two liners, there are a lot of stories that are, longer. But even with that, you don't get the entire story. And I remember people would say, and even now people say this, like, where's the rest of the story? And I would say, well, here's the thing. Us in dispatch, we don't always get closure. The majority of the time we don't get closure, meaning we don't know the rest of the story. And that's why I did it that way, because again, I want the reader to know what it's like for us, or at least to get a glimpse at what it's like for us. We don't get the whole story. You don't get the whole story, but you get a glimpse into it from our perspective. And also, all of the stories are written or the majority of them rather, are written as a "I heard your last breath," or "I was the one who answered your call." The reason I did that is because it's one, it's owning that call, right? Like, this was my call, but also another form of communication. Like, you're reaching out to those folks. Like, even if you never meet them, for example, with the first one that I shared, I'm never gonna meet those people. However, if they were to read that story or someone read it who went through something similar, they would know that they were not alone and that I still think of them and that they will always be with me. Again, another form of communication. And then other 911 professionals reading stories like that or sharing their stories, we're now connecting as well. So there was a lot of thought, there was a lot that went into the creation of the I Am 911 movement. Plus, everything has always been for everyone else. Like, we are all this, we are all this, which don't get me wrong, I'm all about it. I'm all about us being together doing things. I'm talking about us as 911 with those out in the field. But the reason I went with I Am 911 is because that was my story, myself as an individual, us taking that power as individuals, but also at the same time, all together, part of this movement, part of this community, something that is of our own. And people started sharing stories like crazy, man. As I've told people in the past, like that day that I remember sitting there, I was sitting at my in-laws dinner table, and I remember sitting there getting ready to hit post, and I looked at it again and read it again, like, "Okay, no, it does sound good." And then I sat there, and I remember I was a little nervous. I remember sitting there and I thought, "What if nothing happens? What if nothing comes of this? What if I'm just putting it out there?" But then I also thought, "What is gonna be that feeling if I don't put it out there?" I don't want that regret because I'm the type of person that I don't want regrets, man. I wanna do shit. I wanna do it. And if it's gonna disrupt the norm, then fuck yes, I'm gonna do it. Because for too long, that was the norm, that dispatch was just on the sidelines. This is our time, and it has been our time for years now. And and Krista, what's going on, my friend? She says, "Claim your identity. I am 911. Love you, friend. I love you too." And that's exactly it. We're claiming our identity, man. That's what it's all about. Finally, it was something of our own, and we're sharing our stories in a way that no one had seen before, and it exploded. And it just it was something while when I was sitting there and I hit that post button and it went out, I just, "All right, let's see what happens." And my son Logan and I were gonna be driving like 10 minutes away from my in-laws to go visit my mom and my sisters. We were gonna have dinner there, and on the way there, my phone notifications are just going off, going off, going off, going off, going off, and I remember just my eyes popping open and, 'cause I'm listening to it, I hear it, it's going off and going off, and Logan looks at me and he goes, "Dad, what did you do?" And I said, "I think I struck a chord, bud." And we just kinda chuckled, and as soon as we got to my mom's, food was ready and everything, and we sat down at the table, and I said, "Mom, hold on really quick before we get started. and I busted my phone out. And I remember my mom, she goes, "Oh, you're gonna be on your phone?" I was like, "No, no, no, no." I said, I'm not." I said, "I just gotta look at this really quick." And I started to tell her what I had done, and she goes, "Yeah, look at your phone." Now, there was so many stories that were already coming in that the app stopped sending me notifications. Like, that's how many were coming in at that time, and I'm just scrolling through, and I thought, "Oh my god, what did I do?" Because again, like I said, I asked people, um, if if you have a story and you create a meme, send it in, and I'll share it out to my social media network to continue these stories going. And please share, and please share. And they were going out there. Now, the other thing was that there were a lot of folks who were sending in stories, just the text, and saying, "I don't know how to create a meme. I don't know, what app people are using or anything like that. Um, can you create this?" And I was like, "You know what? I'm going to put that out there." So I did. I took those few, created some memes, and then I put something out there that basically said, if you don't know how to create a meme, just send me the text and we'll put it out there. Now, I'm pretty sure at this time as well, um, I had already sent out basically an SOS for people to help me out. I had some admins already, and then I added more, and that was crazy. That was nuts, man. But it was a lot of fun. Now, one of the crazy things too was that looking at the inbox for the Facebook page alone, once I would answer one, like 10 to 12 more would just be popping in and popping in, and I thought, I don't know how we're gonna keep up. So then I created a photo album on that page and started adding those stories in there, and the amount of comments, just everything that was shared. I mean, that photo album alone has been shared over a quarter of a million times. Yeah, over a quarter of a million times. That album, just that album, has been shared. The amount of comments, I can't even tell you how many comments are on there. And there's still stories in those comments, so many that I'll probably never be able to get to them because that's how many are in there. Oh, my mom. My mom's in the comments. She goes, "I will always remember that awesome day." Aw, thank you, mom. I love you. Jason Hill over here says, "My copy of the first book should be on my doorstep on Monday. Can't wait." Awesome. Excellent. Um, so things start to build up, man. And a buddy of mine out of Canada, he's like, I know a lot of Canadian dispatchers out here who are also there. They go by 911 as well. They're like, "We're sharing our I am 911 stories too." And I was like, "Yes, that's awesome." And then he gets a hold of me, and of course, X was Twitter back then in 2016, and he goes, "You gotta check it out. People are sharing stories on Twitter as well." And from what I was told, I am 911 was trending at number 3 during that weekend. Something I never thought was going to happen. And I remember I was glued to my laptop late at night trying to create stories, put the stories out there and going and going and going. Now, here's one thing that I failed to mention though. That week that I shared it, I'm still in Florida and I'm staying at my in-laws. And I had been staying up late because I was sharing stories. And I was also binge watching a a show back then, because it had just come out and it was all over the place. It's called Stranger Things. And as I'm sitting there watching this episode on my iPad, there's a part where the sheriff who's in that show, um, one of the characters, has been missing since like episode 2 or something. They finally find him, and he's unconscious. So the sheriff and the mom they rush over to him, and he starts doing CPR. And as he's doing CPR and I'm watching this, I start crying. I lose my shit. Like, seriously, just like sobbing. Now, I've seen a lot of different things in movies before. I've been moved by stories, but this was different. I could not figure out why it was so hard to watch it. And then I realized it was a trigger. And maybe some of you have had that happen where you're watching something or you hear something or you do something and it's a trigger. It's a trigger from a call that you heard, something that happened. And the reason this was a trigger for me is because that first call that I shared, that first I am 911 story, when I was on the phone and helping the parents with CPR, an officer got there before EMS. And I hear him over the radio as he's running to where my callers are with their child or their teenager, I should say. And I couldn't hang up the phone. The reason I couldn't hang up the phone is because I just needed to hear that that kid was okay. Ultimately, he didn't end up okay, but while I'm listening on the phone, I hear the deputy say, "Come on, buddy. Come on." And in that episode, the sheriff is saying something to that effect, like, come on, like, come on, kid, or come on, buddy." Like he says something like that. And that's what the trigger was. That's why I lost my shit because now I'm seeing this actually play out in front of me. And I just remember sitting there for a while and just letting it all out. It felt good to let that out. It felt good to share that story and other stories. It felt good to see other people sharing stories as well. And then that same friend ends up getting a hold of me, the one out of Canada, and he goes, "Dude, it spread across the pond." I was like, "What?" Dispatchers in the UK were sharing their stories as I am 999. And then also dispatchers out of Australia sharing with I am 000. And it was like the entire thin gold line from around the world united to show people what it is like for us. That we're not just drones answering the phone, that we might sound cold, get calm, cool, and collected while we're talking. But in the back of our minds, we're freaking out just like you because we too are human and we're not cold or dead inside, even though sometimes we might joke that we are. But we have feelings too, damn it. But it's our job to stay calm, to keep the callers calm, to keep those out in the field calm. There's so much that we do. And now we were sharing our stories. We were putting them out there, whether it be in long form or short form. These stories were going out. In the entire world, the eyes of millions were being opened to what it's like for us on that side. And also for a lot of people who no longer felt alone. Where a lot of times in this profession, especially in the beginning, you tend to feel alone. Some people feeling like they were the only ones that were going through a certain situation or dealing with a certain call, but then to find out that there are tons of people like them that are dealing with the same thing. And now they were connecting, commenting, supporting each other. Or in some centers, man, support's probably not even a word that's used there. But we were all coming together, and we have been ever since. And we're a force. It all starts with us. So these stories were going out there. The media was picking it up. Other disciplines of public safety were sending in their messages saying thank you, how much they love their dispatchers and call takers, and how important they are. And that, yes, we are first responders, just like everyone else. That we might not be there physically, but damn it, we are sure there mentally. And we are putting things together in our heads based on what we are hearing, putting the pieces together like a puzzle. And sometimes what we're hearing and imagining is worse than what is actually going on there. But that's what it's like for us. And then there were also callers who were sending in their stories, their side of an I am 911 story, saying thank you. Thank you for being there for them. That had you not been there, they might have committed suicide. But because of what you do, you help them. So people were saying thank you. That was something that I wasn't expecting either. And I've got a video on Facebook. I was going to cut out a clip to show you, but I'll probably share it tomorrow or something. But there was a clip when all of this was going on, when I came back from Florida, when I was back at work. I posted a video showing the analytics to show people that there were over 34 million engagements on Facebook alone. 34 million. Another time I looked, it was 36, almost going on to 37 million. And as much as it was exploding, I'm sure it hit 40. But that first video actually shows on the screen that it was over 34 million engagements. All because of your stories. Because of what you do in 911. It was amazing, and it continues to be amazing. So much has happened since then. Lavelle says, hashtag truth. Let's send these Imagine Listening books to Congress/representatives so they can reclassify us. That's how this all started. The I Am 911 movement, I started it as a way to help fight for the reclassification of 911 professionals. But it quickly turned into peer support. There were people who were sending in messages saying, my hands are still shaking from typing out this story because I've had it buried for so long, but now there's an outlet and I feel so much better. Mental health and wellness got pushed to the forefront for 911 and so many other things. The recognition. A good friend of mine, Jameson Peavy House, who works for Rapid SOS now. A quote from him back then, and one that I will always hold. I post it. He said that the I Am 911 movement is the single greatest public education campaign for 911 that there has ever been. And I agree. I started this, but it's because of all of you and your courage to share your stories that made this what it is and continues to be. It's powerful. We were able to find some form of closure and healing through the power of storytelling. Those are our stories. That's our identity. That's hashtag I am 911. That's the movement. And it continues. And about a month or so after that, I put something out there where I wanted them to write hashtag I am 911 on their hands. And I just wanted them to take a picture of themselves, whether it was in everyday life, in their center, if they could, of course, or outside of the center, however. And there was a dispatcher out of North Dakota. I'm not sure if she still dispatches now or not. Bailey Johnson is her name, and she had this awesome song, and it's the song that I will always put towards the project I am 911 that I put out there, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to humanize that voice within the trenches of 911 and show pictures. Because the saying of the most important person you will never see, damn it, it is my hope that throughout all of this stuff that's being done and everyone sharing their stories and showing what it's like in dispatch and all of it, that saying won't be a thing anymore. Because dispatch has been on the forefront for a long time. Even though in some places, in some ways, dispatch is still on the side. But with everything that we've been doing, with the movement, imagine listening, all of it, your stories are out there and going out around the world, literally around the world, to millions of people. It's all because of you and what you do. Now, this video is a little long, but I want to share it either way because I've always shared it. And, I want to share it for today as well. And if for some reason you can't hear it, let me know. But again, this song is, I love the song that is with this. So this is Project I Am 911.
From the minute I walk in the door to the time I sit across from that screen, I am waiting. We don't pick the calls, we don't dare play God, we don't have the time to waste. From the man in the accident to the mother whose child won't breathe, just breathe. To the heroes who wear a badge, you want home safely. Oh, I am waiting. I'm the voice that brings the light in all your nightmares come true. I'm the calm in all the noise. Oh, I am waiting. You may not understand why I need all of these things, but I promise I'm a helping hand, and I will see to all of your needs, yeah. From the man in the accident to the mother whose child won't breathe, just breathe. To the hero who wears the badge, you want home safely. Oh, I am waiting. I'm the voice that brings the light in all your nightmares come true. Calming all the noise, oh, I am waiting. And all the ones I've lost will forever be a part of me. I feel it in my bones every time I pick up that phone. From the man in the accident to the mother whose child won't breathe, just breathe. To the hero who wears a badge that you want home safely, oh, I am waiting. What's your emergency? From the man in the accident to the mother whose child won't breathe, just breathe. To the hero who wears the badge that you want home safely, oh, I am waiting. I'm the voice that brings the light amidst your nightmares come true. I'm the calm in all the noise, oh, I am waiting. What's your emergency? What's your emergency? From the man in the accident to the mother whose child won't breathe, just breathe. To the hero who wears the badge you want home safely, oh, I am waiting.
There it is, folks. That was a short video on Project I Am 911. Again, that was something that I ended up doing. It was like a month after the launch of the movement, and it's just I wanted to share again some of those pictures humanizing the voice within the trenches of 911 for people to see that we are human, just like them, and just everything that we do. And that song, Damn It Bailey, thank you so very much for allowing me to use that. And that will always be my favorite 911 song. I know there's others out there, but this is the one that I always stick to. It's the one that I dig the most. I don't know. There's just something about this one that really it just really resonates with me. So again, thank you. Now, as the months went on and the movement continued to grow, media stories going out there, doing different, writing different articles, being interviewed by the news and stuff about the movement and what it stands for. And I started to develop a class because I thought, how cool would it be? Because these stories are powerful as they are, right? Written. But what if I was able to have people share these stories out loud in a room, in a session, and record them? Because these powerful stories in the voices of those who are telling them would be that much more powerful. That's where Imagine Listening comes in. That was the session that I created, the peer support session, where the first 30 minutes for Imagine Listening, people would get to share their personal IM 911 stories. And I remember as I was going through it and thinking about doing this, I thought, I don't want that to be the whole hour because I don't want people to leave from there like, like holy shit. Like that was very powerful, yes, but man, like some of the stories, like it leaves you kind of drained a little bit, right? Just a lot of emotions. So I thought, what if the last 30 minutes are funny stories? We call it open mic. And that's how Imagine Listening came to be. And the reason I called it Imagine Listening is because that's exactly what I want. That's what I want people who are listening to these stories to do is just that, what the title says. Imagine listening to something like this, like one of these calls coming in. This is us. This is what it's like for us. And if it was therapeutic for me and a lot of others who were writing in, maybe it would be therapeutic for those who were sharing stories within that session. And the first one was done at the Indiana APCO NINA conference. And I remember asking my good friend Rob McMullen, who's a director out of Knox County. We've been friends for years now. And I asked him to be up there on stage with me. And I remember him asking, like, how do you think this is going to go? I was like, dude, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to go because it's never been done before. Or at least as far as I knew, nothing like that had ever been done before. It was something new, something that I hoped would help people. And also the Imagine Listening sessions, they depend on the participation of the audience. So if nobody was going to share anything, like I had to figure out a way on the fly to make it work. So we're sitting up on stage and I start explaining what we're going to do. And the session has evolved. Like at the time, I didn't have like the intro that I do and stuff. I would just explain what we were going to do and I put it out there. Now it's your turn to share, a story. Who wants to go first? No one. It was just crickets. No one wanted to share. And I remember Rob like looking at me and smiling and just going, "So what do we do now?" And I said, "I don't know, man. Let me think really quick." So then I said over the mic, "If you would rather write your story down, do that. Write down your story and pass them up, and we'll read them for you." And as soon as I got done saying that, the people were just ripping paper left and right, sharing paper with other attendees. It was standing room only, man. There were tons of people in there, and it was packed. People sharing pens, like just writing stories down. And I remember just kind of looking at Rob, and I thought, here we go. And one lady, I can see her in my head right now. She raised her hand and said she wanted to share a story, and someone brought the mic to her. And she shared, and she broke a little. She cried, but it was powerful. She had the strength of everyone else there with her and letting her know, like, we're here with you. And I thanked her for sharing her story. And then other people wanted to share their stories out loud. And then we were reading stories. Now, like I said, this session has evolved where those who have written stories, I don't read all of them in the session because there are so many people who want to say stories out loud that if I read the stories that are written down, it takes up a lot of the time because there's only 30 minutes in the beginning. A lot of people have also said that the session needs to be a lot longer. And I hear you. I hear you. Um, so now what I do with the written stories is I bring them home, and when I edit the episode and everything, I read them in my voice and add them to all of those stories. But back then, that first one, that's how it went. And then we got to the funny part. And I remember when we left from there, it was just like we did that. We all just did that. And it's always been hard to explain to people what it's like to be in a room, in that room during that session. And anyone who's watching and listening right now, you can throw in the comments, you know what it's like to be in there, to know exactly what people are talking about. Even if you're new, just there in support of each other, because not everyone shares a story. And I tell people, you don't have to share a story if you don't want to. When you're ready to, then you can, and we welcome it. But just the fact that you're there supporting your fellow brothers and sisters of the Thin Gold Line, that's what this movement is all about. And getting these stories out instead of burying them, because that's what I used to do. I've said many times before, all of this that I do for a living now started from my own struggles. And then it was therapeutic for me to share. I've been doing it ever since. Now, those early Imagine Listening sessions, I had these cards made. This is one of the original ones. It's got my headset on there, and it says, share your story, join the movement, hashtag I am 911. And on the back here, it says, you will remain anonymous and your story will be read on an episode of Imagine Listening, an extension of the podcast based on the stories of the I am 911 movement. These were the cards that I had for people to write their stories down on, just in case they didn't have paper. Those were the early ones. And also, right in the beginning, I had these challenge coins made. Black and gold, baby. And it's got that gold line, same as this. This is the official logo of the I am 911 movement. And then on the back, it says something as well. And it says, in the moment of crisis, I am the voice within the trenches. I am the one who keeps you calm. I am the one who sends you help. I am the nameless, the faceless, the unsung hero of public safety. This is the original one. Now, I'll say this like I've said many times, these are not for sale. These are exclusive to the Imagine Listening sessions. And I have more on order. They've been on back order forever now. I ordered them almost a year ago now. That's how long it's been that they've been on back order. And just last week, I got word that the lapel pins are ready to go and that the coins should be ready to go at the end of next week. So I'm excited for all of that. So all of the Imagine Listening sessions that I have coming up in the next few months, I will have the lapel pins and I will have the coins. These coins are rare. I am going to create another version that will be a coin that will be sold or traded. So thank you for your patience. I'm working on it. I'm one person. But Imagine Listening exploded. And I was traveling and have been traveling for almost 8 years now straight. I have been doing Imagine Listening across the country. And people have been sharing stories. And eventually, now that I have the time, Imagine Listening will be its own separate podcast. No interviews, just stories. I can't wait for you to hear it. From Imagine Listening also comes what we're doing here right now, open mic. I wasn't doing this as a live broadcast before. It took all the bullshit that was going on in the world during the pandemic, and then, of course, all the protesting, all of the stuff that was going on during that time. On social media, people were just hurting. And I thought, we need to just talk. So then on a Sunday at about 11:30 at night, I went live and I started sharing just funny stories. And I said, let's do open mic. Let's just share funny stories. Let's just talk. How are you doing? How are things going? And since 2020, for 4 years straight now, I've been doing this live broadcast, open mic, and checking in with you and sharing stories. All of this has evolved. And then for years, people were asking, will these stories ever be in a book, something that I can share with my family so that they know what it's like for us, that these calls stick with us? And finally, last year, book 1 of Imagine Listening went out, which I'm proud of. It sucks that it ended up getting tainted, but I'm proud that it went out there. I'm proud that people were able to purchase it and are still able to purchase it for a little while longer. Let me look in the comments here really quick. Mackenzie Barrett here says, it's so powerful being in that room, hearing and sharing the stories. Yes, thank you. Yes, it is. Again, it's hard to explain to people. It's like you got to be in there to experience it, because you've got folks that are sharing stories that they've held in for so long. And now they have an outlet. Not just an outlet, but they have people around them who know exactly what it's like. I'm a regular out at the ranch in Texas. My buddy Joe Serio with the 360 Dispatcher has this 911 leadership training event that he does out in Bandera, Texas, out on this ranch. And it's been an honor to be out there and be the closer, because the closing is Imagine Listening. And there have been times, not just there, but also at conferences, and now as well as the training that I do, the 8-hour communications course that I do. Imagine Listening is part of that, because now it's going to dispatch centers as well. It's not just at conferences or at the ranch. And people are sharing these stories and breaking down. And their brothers and sisters are there, coming up to them and hugging them and letting them know it's all right. We're here for you. We're here together and we're supporting each other. That's what this is all about, man. It has been just an amazing experience. When I set out to do this over 10 years ago, and even more than that, because I was really thinking about this around 2007, after I took the call when my grandmother passed away. But really, the first version of everything that I do was in 2010. And then the podcast, the end of 2012, officially launching in 2013. Been doing this for that long. It has been an honor to do it, to help everyone feel good about what they do and sharing their stories, feeling comfortable sharing their stories. I set out to, 1, leave a mark on this profession, and 2, to leave it in a better place than what I found it, to disrupt the norm of what we know as 911 and as 911 professionals. And I'm just happy that I'm able to play a small part in your 911 journey, whatever that may be. But it's been amazing. And again, even though I started this, it's because of all of you that everything is blown up the way it has because of what you do, because of your stories. Thank you. What a fucking experience, man. What a profession. And it feels like, in whatever way, whenever I meet someone new, see someone that I haven't seen in a long time, just feel that connection with all of you. It's always fun, especially when we get to the funny part, man. Lavelle says, you are appreciated so much for what you have done. I've been following you forever." Not in a creepy way. I know what you mean. I would have never taken it that way. Oh, that's great. But thank you. I appreciate you, and also just to have the honor and your trust in sharing your stories. I don't take that lightly, man. That is a big thing. And I will always thank all of you for that. And I will continue to fight for you. This is our time. It has been for a while, and it will be for years and years to come. So hold your head up high. There's not a lot of people who can do this job. Now, as we go into the wrap up of this open mic and the last few hours here of I Am Now in One Day 2024, I want to show you something. I'll put this up on the screen here. This is a sneak peek. I hadn't planned on doing this, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this. So here's a sneak peek, my friends, of Ricardo's version of Book 1. Imagine Listening, Your Worst Days Are Every Day, Volume 1. This is a redesign with my name on it, no publisher. I'm the one publishing this, self-publishing. Within the Trenches Media on there, as well as Code 7 Traffic, LLC. Here's a sneak peek at the beginning page of Volume 1. Because as I've posted, as you may know, the current Book 1 will be soon out of print. It will no longer be sold because I terminated my contract with that publisher. As I posted, I have not seen royalties for that first book, and it's been over a year that it's been out. And there are other things that happened that I won't talk about here. I'll just say it was a lot of bullshit. And it sucks the way it happened, but I'm excited for all of you to see Ricardo's version of Volume 1 of Imagine Listening. And I'm hoping to launch this the week of December 9th for the last Dare to Be Great virtual event. So there you have it, folks. A sneak peek at Volume 1, the intro page. And I also cannot wait for you to see Volume 2. That's going to be in a week and a half. It'll be out there, and it is doing great so far. So thank you, all of you, once again. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for the support of the I Am 911 movement, as today is the 8th anniversary. 8 years, man, of the I Am 911 movement and everything that has come from it. Thank you for the support. But more importantly, thank you for what you do every single day as the most vital piece of public safety. One voice can make a difference. One voice can change the world. I'm not talking about me, and I know I say this all the time now, but I will continue to say it. One voice, your voice, can change the world. And it's all through the power of storytelling and what it is that you do in 911 as a 911 professional. But if you think that your voice can't change the world, just remember, your voice can change your caller's world. That's how much power you have. That's how important it is what you do. And some of you might feel as though what you do for a living is simply a drop in the water. But what happens with that drop in the water? Like my good friend Gary Hill has said for years now, it's those ripples. That's where your impact lies, is within those ripples. You might not ever have one of those full circle moments, but that's okay. Just know that what you do is seen, heard, and recognized. But for some of you, you might have, or may have already had, that full circle moment. So leave here today with your head held up high in what it is that you do, because not a lot of people can do it. And I know I keep saying it, but if you haven't heard it lately, thank you. And I am proud of you for what you do. My mom here says, congratulations to everyone. Thank you all for your hard work. God bless you all. And over here on Instagram, thank you as well. Well, tonight has been amazing. That has been an excellent Open Mic Live / I Am 911 Day. National I Am 911 Day. A lot of people out there posting, sharing stories, doing so many things. And I was going to give away a couple books tonight, but I might do that tomorrow or Monday instead, so I can keep it open for a little bit longer. Because I kind of did in the last second. So I want to give everyone a big enough chance to enter for a book. I'm going to be giving away a hardcover and a paperback. And I'm going to be doing this before the launch date. So if you haven't done so yet, I'm pretty sure I shared it on the Facebook page, on Instagram, and on X. So make sure to go there, find that post, because what I'm looking for is I'm just looking for you to like it, share it, and comment a story. That's it. That's all you have to do. In the comments, share a story, a funny one or a save. That's what I'm looking for. That's all you have to do. And I'm giving away a couple books. So make sure to look for those. And on Monday, I will post who the winner is. Thank you all again. Over here, just got on shift. Thank you for the blessings. Thank you. I hope you have an excellent shift. And Sabrina over here says your voice can change the responders' world also. We had a whole EMS team last weekend tell us they're glad to hear our calm voices during those crazy, bad, serious calls. Yes. Amazing. There it is right there. Thank you again for everything. This live broadcast has been sponsored by InDigital, a leader next gen core services. Shout outs to subscribers of the podcast, but especially all of you who are watching, listening, sharing, and supporting. Thank you so very much. If you have any comments, questions, or you ever want to be on the flagship show, whether you are new to dispatch, seasoned dispatcher, or retired, again, I've been doing this for over a decade, and I would love to share your story. Hit me up at wttpodcast@gmail.com, or the easiest way is to simply go to the link that's at the bottom of the screen, and that is links.co/WTT podcast, and that's links with 2 I's .co/WTT podcast, and you'll find everything there. You'll find my email, all of my social media, where to follow, where to listen to the latest episode, where to pre-order book number 2, and the link for the new version, Ricardo's version of book 1, will be out there as well here soon. And also a link to over 200 and I think 40 hours of free continuing dispatch education, and also to the store, a link for podcast and dispatch merchandise. You can find it all there. Once again, it's links with 2 I's.co/WTT podcast. This can be seen on, at least for this one, Facebook, LinkedIn Live, YouTube, X, and Instagram. Thank you very much. You can also follow us on TikTok. And then for the flagship show, you can listen 24/7 on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, your favorite podcasting app, and withinthetrenches.net. Have a good one, everyone. And happy I Am 911 Day 2024. And we will see you all in the next one.